As a support main, I am so excited for version 42 and the various cards and gems that are going to work super well on any support hero. This video, we are taking a look at what gems and cards are absolutely must-haves, or some considerations for the support role. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a version 42 Paragon guide. I am Sylphin. We're going to start off by looking at the gems, and I want to say that a support is more so than just the laning phase, right? It's also about the continued purpose of a support in the team comp throughout the entire match. So there's going to be a little bit more gems, a little bit more cards than the other roles, but hey, that is okay by me. For slot 1, it's a bit of a tough position for supports. Onslaught, not appropriate. Auto shield, it could help you against ganks, but simply I think an auto mana potion is going to be better than anything else you can get in the knowledge. In the knowledge attribute. As for vitality, you do have healing towers, but hopefully you're not on towers too much. Jungle is irrelevant, and a quick exit may be an option. Gain a little bit more movement speed for 5 seconds when you leave base to maybe get back to your carry. That is a consideration. As for agility, well, I think the only one here is honestly auto health potion. While the potions don't give that much, to be honest with you, they can occur every minute, just under a minute, so I suppose they can add up over time. Slot 1, it's kind of iffy for supports. Knowledge here at slot 7, it's a little bit more clear. Blade turn, you can get this, I suppose, especially maybe if you are melee support. Block the next basic attack after casting an ability, but maybe experienced is a little bit more appropriate. Get this, especially since you're always with your carry, you can help get that experience, which you synergize well from as a support. In the vitality area, again, it's kind of iffy. Mana reactor, as you are a hopefully tankier, you can restore mana for the damage that you take, but you can just reduce that damage flat out by damage reduction, as that obviously would really help as well. But you could also gain a shield while being out of combat for 10 seconds, and that 125 shield may be better than this damage reduction. So depending on the support you're playing, you can take mana reactor if you're really going to go for ability usage, but damage reduction may just help with the tank. And armored, I don't know. I'm not too convinced of armored, to be honest. The next gem I recommend here is Mana Fountain at slot 13. Regen up to 10 mana per second based on your missing mana. That is phenomenal. It's basically Infinity Stream, and as a support, you'll really want that mana regen. As for vitality, you're basically just going to want damage return. It's the best one out of the 3 as a support. Return 10.5% of basic damage taken. Again, that's really the best one. Is Executioner Rush. Hopefully you're not doing that. And Shredding Strikes, maybe you could bring some utility to your team, but I simply think the damage return is going to be much better. Really, there's nothing here in agility, as you don't want to be getting agility, so even though mana generator could be used, you're not going to get it. Now there's 2 options here at slot 19. Spell Shield blocks the next enemy ability, so if you're somebody like a Narbash that you really want your ultimate to go off, Spell Shield is it. But reactive spells, it's pretty darn good. Reduce cooldowns by 6.1% whenever you receive ability damage. On a Muriel, this sounds absolutely bonkers. Another great gem here at slot 19 is the Reflexive Purify. Purify yourself after taking 501 damage, so that's roots, stuns, damage over time effects, any bad thing here, you can purify that after taking the damage, because you're probably going to be somewhat tanky with a good amount of sustain. Reflexive Purify, definitely going to be good. Now, slot 25 for supports, it seems like it would be really good, but knowledge, it's actually kind of iffy. Empowered attacks after casting an ability, the next basic attack within 3.3 seconds deals bonus ability damage. I suppose that is a way to get some damage out from your support, but you know, that's about it. Overpowered spells you definitely don't want. An Amplify Aura is nearby enemy units take 10.5% increased ability damage. So what you want to go for kind of depends on maybe what kind of a support you are. If you are a Narbash or a Richter or maybe even a Steel, maybe this Amplify Aura would actually be it, so that you can do your thing and actually get some good value out of it. But here are the gems in Vitality. You have all three options, as they're all fantastic. Armor Aura, nearby enemy units have basic armor reduced by 12, but nearby allies have our basic armor increased by 12. You also have improved health regen. If you are melee or just taking some more damage, you can take improved health regen, where you can heal for 0.2% of your max health per second, and that increases every second while out of combat, stacking up to 6 times. It's pretty monstrous. But you also have Avenging Spells. When hit by an enemy basic attack, your cooldowns are reduced by 2 seconds. So with, at this point, slot 25, enemy basic attacks are going to be coming in very, very quickly. As a Muriel, you're going to... Oh, this sounds absolutely amazing. And now we move on to cards. The first one it's literally mandatory, is Lamp Lighter. For 300 gold, you gain 2 Shadow Wards. You absolutely have to take this. I'm not saying that maybe you have to take Order. There are some more vision cards later on, but you gotta take it. Armored Footman, not really something I kind of recommend, but there is a scenario where it could be useful. For 1 Vitality, you have 20% chance to reduce basic damage taken by 50. That's basically all the damage from an offlaner, all the damage from a minion, and you can kind of think of it as all basic damage is reduced by 10. If you average 20% and 50 out, it's basically 10 damage reduced all the time. There is a consideration if you want to really harass your offlaner and take the aggro from minions and really utilize this. It is an option. Now, a great sustain and lane tool here is Chanting Shaman. For 1 knowledge, you gain 50% mana regen for each nearby ally. Obviously, you'll be with your carry, so you'll get at least one of that off all the time. But if somebody comes to help, or you and your carry rotate, or any other allies nearby, this snowballs tremendously. Now, if you like economy cards, and I personally do, Coin Master is something for you. 1 Vitality to gain 8 bonus gold every 10 seconds. But it increases to 16 while you're out of combat. And as a support, frankly, you're really out of combat a lot of the time. If you want to negate the detriment of being a support and not last hitting, Coin Master can absolutely provide you the money where otherwise you wouldn't get it. And I suppose if you really want to harass the enemy offlaner, Exoskeleton, it's here. Reduce damage taken from enemy heroes by 8. If you really want to be in their face, I suppose this is an option. Font of Experience is another economy card. Maybe worthwhile. 1,000 gold to gain 4 experience every 10 seconds. As a safe laner, you and your carry split the experience. This might counteract that, and you know what? It actually does add up to be tremendously valuable. So, if you want to play a little bit late game with these economy cards, I personally would do it. Highwayman, another card here that may work. For 1,000 gold, you gain 1 mana regen, and whenever you deal damage to a hero, gain 75 gold. So, when you are in that safe lane, every 15 seconds, basic attack the enemy offlaner. Basic attack the enemy offlaner 15 seconds later. Every 15 seconds, that can be kind of a last hit, basically. So you can, in a way, through some of these economy cards, negate the fact that you're not getting last hits, and you're splitting hero experience. Now, if you want to be a walking ward for your carry, Outlander Scout is it. 1,000 gold and you gain True Sight in a 1,500 unit radius around your hero. It reveals people in stealth and goes through fog walls and goes through terrain, as far as I understand it. Basically a walking geometry piercing ward, or basically a Wraith's Who's There ability. You're basically a walking that. Hands down a must get if you are a Chaos support. For some extra sustain and as a phase to pass through your telekinetic link, Green Spring is a great card. 3 vitality to gain 20 basic armor, little bit of tankiness, and regenerative rest. 8.4 health regen while out of combat. You're going to be out of combat a lot, so just keep that link on your carry. There's 8.4 health regen going to them, or if you're any others, you can take some damage, dive the enemy offlaner a bit, and get that health back. Here is our first true support card, Radiant Healer. For 3 knowledge, you gain a 990 health, and you and nearby allies gain 5 health regen. Much stronger than the old Circlet of Healths, but there's no global part to it, so you get that nice health regen. Perhaps just absolutely must-have card on a support. If you want to provide some resource for your team, Supply Sergeant restores mana. 3 knowledge, 110 mana, and you can every 85 seconds for 0 mana cost restore 125 mana to nearby allies. Some team comps could definitely use this mana more so than others, so it kind of really depends on what your team really needs. Vanguard Captain, I would love to see work well. 2 vitality, 1 knowledge, 7 health regen, and nearby allies block 4 damage from minions. Now, damage is much more valuable in version 42, so blocking 4 damage, actually, that's a significant amount. What is this used for? It simply enables your allies to tank minion waves. So in the early game, you could very much dive the enemy offlaner a bit more often. Another vision card that is 100% absolutely mandatory, if you ask me, Protective Sentry. 2 vitality, 2 knowledge, 1 mana regen, to be able to place a Shadow Ward to reveal enemy units and grant 12 basic armor to nearby allies. Every 65 seconds you can put down a Shadow Ward, and that costs 50 mana. It should be obvious as to how valuable this is, and is an absolute must on any order hero for one, but especially an order support. Gates of Salvation is another strictly support card. For 7 knowledge, you gain 1 mana regen, 25 ability armor, and 3 unique things. Heal Aura. Heal nearby allies for 225 health every 45 seconds. That is a significant amount of healing that you can do every so often, but you can increase the frequency of this healing by 2% cooldown reduction per attribute point purchase. So for every knowledge that you have purchased, it will increase or decrease the cooldown of this healing. So if you have 25 points of knowledge times 2, that's 50% cooldown reduction. Every 22.5 seconds you'll be able to heal people. At least from my understanding, that is how this will work. Every 22.5 seconds, 225 health? Oh yeah, absolutely wonderful. Another strict support card here is Malank's Grace. 5 vitality, 2 knowledge to get 455 health. That's a lot. And Shield Link active. Shield yourself and target ally for 15% of your max health for 3 whole seconds. 100 mana in every 45 seconds. That's pretty phenomenal. Hey, this can really work especially if you're shielding another tankier hero. Obviously that shield gets bigger, but still 15%. That is great. Really a must-have on order support heroes. Malank's Prayer is another absolutely mandatory support card. The 3 vitality, 4 knowledge, 240 health, and 24 basic armor. Rallying Shout heals nearby allies for 275 health. Healed nearby allies, though, gain 24 basic armor for 20 seconds. It's basically Barrier of Will. 80-second cooldown for 75 mana. Another heal card. So I, as a Muriel main, I can already shield people, so I'm actually a little bit more interested in healing people. This, absolute must-have in Muriel, in my opinion. Sprykin is another healing sustain card. 2 vitality, 5 knowledge, get 140 mana and 1 mana regen. Restoration link, you and target ally gain 60% of your missing health and mana over 10 seconds. 120 second cooldown and 75 mana cost. Really, it's basically a heal, except it scales off of how much you're missing. So if you and your target ally both missing a lot, which as a support, hopefully you're tanking and trying to absorb some damage, can be very valuable. Now, to keep in the theme of healing, Vital Waters just amplifies that. Basically, it's Clear Heart. 7 vitality, gaining 325 health and 6 health regen. Increase all healing effects cast and received by 15%. So not only is this viable on phase, but it's also viable on anybody that's casting these healing effects. So amplified healing here looks like if you're going for a ton of these healing cards, which on Muriel I'm thinking I will, Vital Waters absolutely mandatory. Vengeful Mire might be a tanky support sort of card that provides some utility for your team. 5 vitality, 3 knowledge to gain 300 health, 250 basic armor. The burst slow, though, applies a 100 movement speed slow to nearby enemies after taking 300 damage. So if you are a melee support, a Richter, a Steel perhaps, this could work. If you can get away with it, that slow might be really valuable for your team. Song of the Sentinel is a card I love because it's a different sort of card. 5 agility, 3 vitality, and 3 knowledge to gain 290 health, 170 mana. Inspiring Aura gives nearby allies 22 attack speed and 18 basic armor. If you are a pseudo support, you're more going for a offensive sort of disruptive support, this could be very good. I mean, giving your allies attack speed and basic armor, that could go a long way. Another one of these pseudo supporty but also damage kind of cards is Plague Lord Malank. 4 vitality, 8 knowledge, 17 power. Alright, so that works for somebody like Richter a lot. 290 health and 170 mana. Blight Aura. Nearby enemy heroes have Blight, reducing their healing that they receive, and a movement speed slow aura. Slow the enemy speed of nearby enemy heroes by 80. So you know what? On a Richter that's really meant on just chaos and death, while also being supportive, this card might be just tremendous. Yet another brawlery support card is Yomi Guardian. 3 agility, 9 vitality to gain 12 power, 300 health, 36 basic armor. The area defense active, though, pretty darn cool. Nearby allied units, including heroes and minions, gain 100% chance to block 50 basic damage for 8 seconds. Every 80 seconds you can use this, and it only costs 80 mana. So you know what? When you are sieging a inhibitor, a tower, or an objective, you can ensure that your allies are going, and minions are going to take reduced damage. Now, 50 might not sound like a lot, but remember, crit isn't super isn't the main source of damage anymore. It's simply base damage and attack speed. So this is really, really good. And that is about it for our wonderful supports. A lot of fantastic cards, and supports can be played in multiple ways. You can have your really, really, really supportive supports, and then some of those cards that we kind of talked about that aren't necessarily supportive, but they help the team in eliminating the enemy team. So let me know down in the comments if there's any other cards that you think are absolutely fantastic for the support role. But remember, especially in those higher cost cards. A lot of those are great for heroes specifically, but I'm just looking for things good for the support role in general. So let me know down in the comments if there's anything else that you can see, because I would love to learn from you. I would love for other people to learn from you as well. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course guys, subscribe. You guys like this content, especially if you found it useful. Please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. If you would like to support me on a regular basis, please head on over to my Patreon account where you can make a pledge to help me do what I love. Till next time, like always guys, stay optimistic and positive.